it hot day? Hot day. Hi there, it's Anne at Martin House Flowers. So today in this video I wanted to just share with you some maintenance that I have to do in the raised garden area. We've had pretty hot weather in the mid 90s in the last couple days, and finally last night we did receive some good downpour of rain. So it's a little cooler today, probably in the mid 80s. I believe it's something like 84 right now. So it's still pretty hot and humid, but definitely a bit of a reprieve from yesterday's temperatures in the 90s. So I'm just going to do some quick maintenance. I was inspired by BBC, the garden channel there. I'm going to put down below the name of the host, but I love watching those shows where he cut back his overgrown squash beds, and so I was inspired by that. As I've been showing you my baby pumpkins and cucumbers, there's just been an overflow of foliage into the pathways in the raised bed, so I'm inspired to cut that back because he showed that if there's some flowering on the plant, it's probably not going to turn into a veggie or a fruit at this point. It's too late in the season, so I'm going to go ahead and aggressively do some cutting back. And I'm going to do the same behind me here in the tomato patch. Just do a nice little cleanup, because that'll help reduce the amount of cutting back I have to do when fall comes, which is probably just around the corner. So yeah, thanks for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy this little chore day in the garden. As I mentioned before, I haven't, that was Big B. I haven't, look at that guy. I haven't cut back any of these dahlias, put them into a vase or anything like that. And I've been seeing a lot of aphids in this area. And I did pick up some Jack's insecticidal soap, so I might use that. Let me grab those things, because I don't think we're getting any rain till Friday, so it might be worth it. And I have cut this back previously, but as it starts to climb the sprawl over into the lower part of the bed, practically down into the grass, I think it's time to give it a little cut back. I think a tomato fell into our rain gauge. That's how overflowing it is. And I think I'm going to cut some statice too. I just threw in some statice here because I was out of space in the raised beds. But yeah, I could really use a good cleanup here. So I'm grabbing my Fisker's bag, and I'm going to do a nice cutting here too, and hopefully I can capture some of this that I'm working on. So let me set this up and we'll go from there. Here's the bulk of it that I really have to address. So I see a piece of fruit here, or pumpkin, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut anything beyond what I see in terms of a pumpkin, and just extra foliage that's not contributing to that. I want to be able to walk through this path, and this is obviously all excess. I had grown some little pumpkins last year in the higher raised bed over there, and I don't know, I think I got about 5 or 6 little pumpkins. But this is just too much. So as I mentioned before, I'm not planning to repeat this. So there's one forming. I'm going to go ahead and try to leave that. But any of these here that have these flowers, I'm not going to worry about trying to save that. All of this that I just cut, it's okay. If any of you are growing squash, pumpkins, and you've got suggestions of what works for you in your space that doesn't impose too much, and yeah, let me know. Because we went from last year, we had some summer squash, we had some butternut squash, we had a few different things. Today is Friday, and I thought I'd start the weekend off with one of my weekly flower arrangements. So it's the end of August, and the cut flower garden is still doing really well for the end of the season. I still have lots of marigolds, lots of snapdragons, although they're on the way to the end of, we probably have maybe a couple more weeks of harvesting snapdragons. And zinnias, of course. You'll see some amaranth in this bouquet. So I thought I'd just get started. Hope you enjoy, and put on some relaxing music and sit back. Hope you have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. And thanks for just joining me on this calm, semi-overcast day. I think it might rain. But yeah, hope you enjoy. So I just wanted to show, if you can see, the bucket of flowers that I had picked yesterday afternoon. I managed to get out onto the raised cut flower garden bed area, and it was oh, I got up nice and early yesterday because I had a early doctor's appointment. So I managed to cut some of these flowers, and they've just been sitting by the door, the patio door. So some might have not made it overnight just because they were already spent, like the snapdragon here. So I'll just leave that be. But yeah, I just thought I'd let them condition, and honestly, I ran out of time. So let's just get started. So in terms of conditioning the water, I used a homemade formula where there's 2 tablespoons of just regular white sugar, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, white vinegar, and a pretty full vase of water. And I used a warm water so that the sugar would dissolve. Originally, I had planned on using this pitcher that you've all seen me use in other arrangements, but I remembered I had this one, and I love this one because it's got a nice, I would say it's probably about a 5 to 6 inch opening, and I love the height of it, and it's sort of rustic. My brother, when we first moved into the house 3 years ago now, around my birthday, sent me a lovely arrangement in this, and I do love this. I have seen this on Amazon, I believe, so if you really like this, I can see if I can find it on Amazon. But it was sent from a florist, but I like the height, I love the size of it. So I'm not going to put any kind of a grid or anything because I have a full bunch of flowers, and I think it'll be full enough without having to put a grid or a frog in it. So I'm just gonna, ooh, these are quite, it may not be tall enough for this vase. Well, let's see how it goes. So already the snapdragons are looking pretty spent. They're pretty droopy. Yep, they got some water. So it's important to always cut make a new cut on something that if you've already cut the flower. So since these are pretty droopy, I'm gonna start just using these. Yeah, they got wet along the outer sides and let them just kind of drape, and if we're lucky, they'll spring up once they've been sitting in the fresh water, sugared water. And I mentioned these snapdragons are, gosh, they're on their 3rd or 4th cut and come again series, so they're not as tall and as full as they normally are. But I'm just sitting here at my kitchen counter because the greenhouse may not be cool enough yet today. Probably would have been okay, but I don't know if you guys noticed in a previous video, my husband had the ladder in there because he's still needs to find time, and hopefully it'll be this weekend. I think he'll have time this weekend to finish up the last string of solar lights. There's a really short stem on the marigolds. So I was yesterday, after I cut the marigolds, that, if you've seen my other videos, that live in the taller raised bed that have our tomatoes, peppers, which we call the veggie bed. I have these marigolds that are huge, and actually cut back the nasturtiums a couple days ago because they were really overtaking the peppers, and it's the last, you know, few weeks of the season, so I wanted the peppers to have enough space. So how are y'all doing with allergy season? We're getting hit pretty hard. I've had to take an allergy pill every morning. Eddie, gosh, poor Eddie gets an allergy pill in butter, wrapped in butter every morning. Sometimes, and he gets these chewable ones too. He sleeps in our room and has just been honestly waking us up with his really aggressive scratching. So I feel really bad for him, but we've really felt the disturbance, the sleep disturbance. Aren't these amaranths beautiful? Now they're on their way out. You'll see there's a few sort of golden tips on some of them, but you know, this isn't a professional arrangement. This is just for our kitchen table behind me. So I'm going ahead and using whatever I can of all the cut flowers. I love this pink zinnia. I think I believe this is Benry's Giant. I did the wiggle test, and that one's looking a little bit worn already, but by the weekend there'll be more that are ready with this nice stiff stem, so I can always replace these. But I have noticed, you know, everyone knows about those little packages of floral preserve. I think it's Crystal or Chrysalis. I did buy a bulk box full, but I tested it and I found that, you know, the sugared water with 2 tablespoons sugar and 1 tablespoon vinegar seems to be even more effective than those little packages. So I thought I'll just save those for if I ever want to give away a bouquet, or if I end up selling bouquets next year. And I was thinking about if I could grow enough cut flowers, selling at our local market, our local farmers market, and I believe it's around $40 to participate per market, or $200 a season. But I don't know that, number one, I'll have enough flowers to harvest to participate every single week of the summer from June until September. Oh gosh, I'm like seriously having itchy eyes even after taking a Claritin today. So yeah, not sure. These snapdragons are looking super wilted over here. So here's some that look a lot better, taller. So yeah, this year it was really about testing all the different types of cut flowers in the garden to see what did well, what didn't. And then next year I could think about, you know, participating in a couple markets a summer. We go away every June or July for a week to Canada to our annual cottage rental on the lake that we went to this year, and we've been going for the last 3 years, I believe, to the same place. And so we'll probably rent that place again, and we're gonna have a new family member next year, so which I'm so excited about. Can't announce it officially yet about the details, but I think I'm gonna be busy with that next year, but I'm hoping that I can still do some kind of, you know, to try my hand at making bouquets and selling them at a market stand. We cannot sell or open market stands in our neighborhood the way other home gardeners can, like North Lawn. And yeah, unfortunately can't do that because we have very strict HOA bylaws. So I'll see if it's worth it, because there are commitments like insurance that you have to pay for when you sell at a market, and there's always some kind of marketing that you have to do, whether it's business cards or signs or purchasing a tent or a table and all of that. But the whole idea is to hopefully just at least pay for my seeds that end up adding up. This year I've already picked up all of my seeds, ordered most of them anyway, from Johnny's and Baker's Creek, and MI Gardner had a big sale. Johnny's had a sale where it was, if you spent $50, you got free shipping just last week, so I placed an order there. So let me know if you're interested in me going through my seeds that I'll be starting this winter for next year. Let me know if that's of interest to you, and I can shoot a video about that. Oh, that front with the yellow is so pretty, and this side is more pink, but let's see what ends up calling out to me as the front. So here's one of those Bennery's giant corals. I'm assuming that's what that is, but it's so multi-layered and so big. I think we need some coral here. I did a row of these teddy bear sunflowers, and they were covered in aphids. I did spray some insecticidal soap yesterday, and this one I was able to cut. And they say the best time to cut the sunflowers is when they're just starting to open up and you just see a little bit of the color. But I think with this teddy bear one, I was waiting. This was open, but I was waiting for some of the side ones because it is a branching sunflower, excuse me. So anyway, I think so far, I mean, I've cut this about 24 hours ago. All of these cut flowers I cut 24 hours ago. And the one cut flower I haven't ventured into are dahlias, and that's because I don't think I have the patience or diligence to dig up the tubers in the fall, and then keep them, overwinter them, and then replant them in the spring. I did grow some zinnias in the veggie garden that I'm sure you've seen, that are really like branching ones, and they're not very and they were covered in aphids. But I don't think that they're the cut flower type. But anyway, so I love this Cosmo. I managed to find one of these cupcake Cosmos that had two other branching ones that are just starting to open. And the white ones, I do notice, do get infested by bugs pretty quickly. But I managed to get one that wasn't too bad. And then you see these. So I'm leaving that one a little long. I like how it's kind of wild looking. So I'm liking this arrangement. And I did cut some bachelor's buttons because there were finally a few. Oh darn, this one broke. So we're gonna have to cut this guy. But I love being able to introduce some blue. Oh, makes such a difference. So in terms of what I will repeat, I will definitely, I still have some bachelor's buttons of the original package. I think they were assorted. They were blues, pinks, and whites. But I still have a bunch of seeds left in the original package, and I think I picked up a new couple packages from M.I. Gardner. M.I. Gardner had a sale where they were like $1.20. They were more than 40% off. Instead of $4 a pack, around $4 a pack, they were like $1.20. So I bought my $20 worth to get free shipping. And so yeah, I mean, it's a great filler flower. They are really late. Like they're just coming into fruition end of August here, almost September. But I think too, it's because we hadn't finished the raised beds until June. So those last couple beds, 4 of the beds didn't get finished till June. So I didn't get things planted out till June. The first 2 beds that were completed in May held the snapdragons in stock. So, oh, love that. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, I love the airy wildness of the bachelor's buttons as a filler. So, I mean, I think I've said before, the snapdragons were a pleasant surprise. I didn't even succession plant them, and I've been able to harvest from the same original bed. I had a bed and a half, and I've been able to harvest from them all summer long. They're not as tall as they were in the first group, first harvest, but they definitely have done really well in terms of being able to use them as fillers. I had used some of that Hordenova netting on my snapdragons, but the bunnies decided to, one bunny in particular, I think it's the same one, decided to live in that bed and basically kept jumping in and out of the center and basically broke the snapdragons. So here's a fairly tall one, but some of the ones that are all wrangly and squirrely looking are the ones that were on the outside of the Hordenova netting, or on the middle where it was destroyed. So yeah, I mean, looking at these, they're a day. I had just put them in water. I should have conditioned them with sugar and so forth yesterday. I've seen some other arrangements that are starting to transition into late summer, fall, And I think this amaranth and this sunflower, even though we've got some pink zinnias in here, I think this is kind of a nice look. What do you think of that? I think I want to stick. Oh. I have some of this. I think it's a pink lemonade. Or I'll have to look it up. Some kind of a lemonade. Ooh, there's another bachelor button. I need another blue. I might even, oh, this one kind of, yeah, this one got squished. But you can see if I added a third one here, it'd be so perfect. I'm just gonna throw it in for a placeholder. No, I'm not, it's tight. Oh, the salvia is looking really spent in the beds. So I cut back a lot. Who knows if they'll come again, if they'll get a second or third flush. Like this one's pretty much done. But I did pick up a couple packages for next year because I absolutely loved the salvia for your blue effect. To me, if you're going to do a colorful arrangement, you have to have some pinks, some purples or blues, some yellows, and of course something like peach or orange. It's just nice and colorful. And then of course for late summer, I've added in with these red lime, Queenie red lime zinnias, this burgundy amaranth. I think it just adds that late summer color interest. So there's one of the, I think it's the orange lime. I'm not sure, I'll have to look it up. But that definitely, there's a couple in there. I think I'm gonna pull out this pink one because it's not so fresh anymore. Look on the underside, it's pretty much done. So I'm gonna throw this one in instead, and it definitely gives it the fall. Maybe put this one over here for contrast. And two of these here. And another one of these. Oh yeah, there's this guy. See, there's another Cosmo with I left lots of greenery in here when I was cutting back everything that was going to be in the water, but I wanted to leave in all that greenery because it gives us some nice filler, because that's something I had said before, I don't have a lot this year of actual greenery filler. I have lots of filler flowers, but Cosmo foliage make for really nice greenery fillers. Right there, like you can see, it's a bit wild, but I like it. And I did order some seeds of Bupleurum for next year, and I read that they like to be direct sown. So let me know how you guys have done with Bupleurum. I've watched a couple videos of I think North Lawn, Danielle uses them a lot, and so if, the only problem with direct sowing is, I'm sure it works, it's just that it becomes a really late flower, and you may not have it when you want it earlier in the season for making bouquets earlier on in the season, like in June. So I think I'm going to do what I did with zinnias, and that's test some in soil blocks or, under grow lights, whether it's soil blocks or seed trays, and also direct sow some, just so I can see. It's sort of like having, succession planting. So, oh, there's a nice lime, a very small one. It's not going to make it in here, but I'm going to use it in a small vase. So let me move this over and I can just show the finished product. I think that's the front, the teddy bear sunflower. So let me know what you think.